Perimeter, Part 1. In today's lesson, students will learn the formulas to find the perimeter of a square or a rectangle. Perimeter of what? Very good. Perimeter is a really important concept when we use measurement in geometry. Who remembers what a perimeter is? Okay, if I go like this, what am I talking about? Perimeter. What is perimeter? Oh, perimeter, it's the distance around a shape. Okay, so when you measure the distance using a ruler or a meter stick, and you add up all the sides, then you find the shape's perimeter. So let's write perimeter. It's the distance around a shape, okay? So if you want to measure the outside of a shape, you are finding a shape's perimeter. But how, once you measure all the sides, do you find the perimeter? What do you have to do to all of the sides? What do you have to do to them? You have to, what? You have to add them together, okay? So to find perimeter, what do you have to do to all of the sides? You have to add all of the sides together, okay? And we've been talking about two shapes. These are quadrilaterals. They have 4 sides, okay? So we've been adding 4 numbers together, okay? So let's just review. Let's look at this shape. Who knows what this shape is? Okay? It says it's 8 inches. Okay, this side, if you measure it, 8 inches. Okay? And this side is also 8 inches. Okay? So what could you tell me about this shape? What do you think it is? It's a square, right? And when we look at the definition for a square has 4 equal sides, or we say all of the sides are congruent. Okay? Congruent means if this side is equal to this side, we put a little line like this. This means, look, these are equal, but all of the sides are equal. So, what about this side? If this is 8, what's this side? It's also 8, okay? And it's 8 inches. Okay? What about this side? What do you think it is? What is it? It is 8. Okay? 8 inches. Great. So basically today what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at kind of a shortcut for finding perimeter. Now perimeter, we're going to start to use variables. Remember what a variable is? What is a variable? Variable. It's a letter, right, that stands in the place of a number, okay? So P stands for perimeter. If I were to find the perimeter, okay, I could, like we were doing before, what could I do with all of these numbers? I could add them together, right? I could say 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. I could add all those together, okay? Now, 8 plus 8 is, if you do it like this, if you can see on this side, 8 plus 8 is 16. And then 8 plus 8 is also 16. When you add up 16 plus 16, what do you get? What's 6 plus 6? 12, carry the 1, and then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so the perimeter of this square is 32. But there has to be an easier way, okay? Think about it. If all sides are the same, why don't we say that we'll represent the side with the letter S, okay? So what I just did is I added all the sides together. So I said I added this side plus this side plus this side plus this side. So you're going to write that. So the perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side. Because they're all the same, right? What is the side? It's what? What's the side? It's 8, right? So that's the same as 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Okay? Which we found is 32 over here. Okay? 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Those are the sides. How many sides are there in a square? How many sides? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's quadrilateral. There's 4. So how many S's do you see? How many S's are there? There are 4. So the shortcut for this formula, okay, is if you have 4 sides, couldn't you just take 4 and multiply it by one side? 4 times one side. And we'll put parentheses around the S, okay? Can we see that? Parentheses around the S. 4 times S. Because when you have repeated addition, if you're saying 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, well, that is the same as what? 8 times 4, right? If you skip counted, it would be 8, 16, 24, 32. So let's go ahead and substitute 8 in the place of S. So we're going to say the perimeter simply is 4 times, what is the length of the side? It is 8. And 4 times 8, what is that? 4 times 8 is 32, right? 4 times 8 is 32, but we have to say it's inches, okay? So you got to put a box around that. 32 inches. Okay, go ahead and get that down. Okay, so now let's take a look at this shape. Now this shape is different from the square. What is this called? It's called a what? A rectangle. Okay, rectangle. Now a rectangle is special because you'll notice it has 2 long sides. We call this the length. I want you to put an L right here. Okay, this is the length. Now, it also has 2 short sides. We call this the width. Length and width. This is how long it is. This is how wide it is. Length and width. Now, in a rectangle, okay, what is special about its sides? Now, are all the sides congruent? This says that the length is 10 and the width is 5 inches. Okay, if you measure it. So, I have 10 inches. I measured 10, and then I measured 5. Okay, so are they congruent? No. Now here's where you need to realize that the opposite sides, for example, if this is the length and this is 10, what's this one? Is it also 10? Yes. So this is also 10 inches. Okay, if I measured it, it would be 10. It's because the opposite sides are congruent. Okay, so I would say, all right, well, I'm going to make this little mark. This one is congruent to this. It's like a little dash you make. This is equal to this. Now, let's look at the width. The width here is how many inches again? How many inches is this? It's 5. Okay, so what about the opposite side? The opposite side is this one. It's on the other side, right? So how long, if you measured the distance, how long is this? It's 5, right? If you measure it, you can see it is 5. Okay, so this is 5 inches as well. Okay, 5 inches. So we have a rectangle. We are asked to find the perimeter. Okay, find the distance around this shape. What would you have to do to all the sides? You have to do what? You have to add them together. So it would make sense if I add these 2 congruent sides, which is 10 plus 10 first, which is what? It's 20. So the lengths together are 20. And then we want to go ahead and add the width, 5 and 5. Now also, this is congruent to this. I want you to do this real quick. You see how I made this little dash mark? Okay, this says these are equal. Well, these are also equal. So now I'm going to make 2 little dashes. This one is equal to this one. Does that make sense? This width is equal to this width. All right. So what is 5 plus 5? 5 plus 5 is 10. Now, we have to add all of it together. So we have to add 20 plus 10, correct? What's 20 plus 10? 20 plus 10 is? It is 30, but it's not just 30. It's 30 what? I'm talking about inches now, okay? All right, 30 inches. Now, there is also a shortcut to this, okay? I want you to notice something. How many 10s do you have? You have this 10 and this 10. How many 10s do you have? You have 2? Now, these are the lengths. There's 2 of the length, okay? How many widths do you have? How many 5s? You have 2, okay? So, again, it's repeated addition. If you add 10 plus 10, is that the same as 10 times 2? Is it? What's 10 times 2? It's 20, right? Okay, and what about 5 plus 5? Is that the same as 5 times 2? Yes, 5 times 2 is also 10. So, okay, so what we basically did is we said, okay, there's 2 lengths here. I'm going to put L plus L. I added L plus L first. I said 10 plus 10. And then I also added W plus W. These are the width. W plus W. Okay. So that would be the beginning of the formula, okay? Now, I made it a little bit shorter because how many L's are there? How many L's do you see? There's 2 L's, right? Looks like a 1. I know. Stephen's going to say, it looks like a 1. It's an L. All right. How many L's do you see? There's 2 of them, right? So I could just say 2 times L plus, and how many W's do you see? There's 2. I could say 2 times W. All right. Well, great. So let's go ahead and substitute L and W, okay? So what is the length again? Again, we have 2 lengths that are equal. So what is just this length? It is 10, and there's 2 of them. So we're going to say 2 times 10 plus 2 times, what's the width again? What's the width? It's 5. Okay. And you are going to end up with something very similar. Let me move this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, so perimeter equals. Remember, we have to add these together after we multiply. What's 2 times 10? You just told me. What's 2 times 10? 2 times 10 is 20 plus. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. So what does the perimeter equal then? The perimeter equals, like we said, 20 plus 10 is 30 inches. Okay. I want you to put a box around your answer. All right.